In this episode of Linux News Log, Nero Linux 4 released, Citrix joins the Linux Foundation, and how to limit the CPU usage of a process. QuickSurf Internet Media presents Linux News Log, separating the Linux and open source signal from the noise. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, here in Studio BR2 at QuickSurf Internet Media. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to www.techpodcasts.com and check out all the shows over there. Let's go ahead and get into the news for episode number 184. Our first story for this episode is entitled Embed 1 Linux Shows the Way for a New Level of OS Integration. It's from Reuters. Embed 1 has announced EMI, which is an embedded Linux OS management framework that's a turnkey solution for embedded Linux developers and application providers. It features a unified management interface of a system through a JSON-like RPC-like API, and extensive developer tools for their own extensions. It can manage system configuration changes, system software updates, and applications control. EMI is available under open source and commercial licenses. Also, Wind River adds carrier-grade Linux 4.0 compliance for MIPS architectures. This comes from Computer Technology Review. Wind River has announced that Wind River Linux 3.0 for MIPS architectures complies with carrier-grade Linux, which is the CGL 4.0 specification from the Linux Foundation, which is a critical requirement for the telecommunications and high-end data networking markets. This includes MIPS-based multi-core processors from Calvium Networks and RMI Corp, and it also extends existing CGL 4.0 support for PowerPC and x86 architecture-based processors from Freescale and Intel Corporation. Before we get on to the next story, let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor for this episode. If you want more support to more clients by spending less money, try the new GoToAssist Express, brought to you by Citrix. Provide instant remote one-to-one support for clients located anywhere in the world. Service more clients more efficiently, more affordably by accessing another computer online, so you don't have to be in person to fix your computer. Try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, you must visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. That's gotoassist.com/techpodcast for a free trial. Okay, the first story that we have for this segment is entitled Nero Linux 4 Released. I found this off of Heise Online. Basically, the commercial media burning application Nero Linux 4 is now available. The Linux version includes Nero Express, a wizard which takes users through the process of burning CDs and DVDs. Not that Linux users need that, but still, it's a step-by-step process. And it's similar to what you'd see in the Windows version. Also new in version 4.0 is the Blu-ray Disc Defect Management, integration of ISO Linux for creating bootable media, and support for MusePack and AIFF audio formats. It's available from Nero.com for $19.99 in US currency. Citrix joins the Linux Foundation. This I found over at Virtualization Journal. The Linux Foundation has announced that Citrix Systems has become its newest member. Citrix is a provider of virtualization, cloud computing, and software as a service offerings for companies worldwide, and leads the open source Zen hypervisor project, which is based on Linux, which is why it's good they're joining the Linux Foundation. So this is good news. Totally good news. For our how-to segment, I found this website called How to Forge, kind of along the lines of SourceForge, and one of the how-to tutorials that really stood out for me that I actually found useful myself was entitled How to Limit CPU Usage of a Process with CPU Limit. This is mainly for Debian/Ubuntu distros, but I'm sure there are ways to do it for other distributions. And basically the tutorial shows you how you can limit the CPU usage of a process with the tool CPU Limit, which you can get off of SourceForge on Debian and Ubuntu. CPU Limit is a simple program that attempts to limit the CPU usage of a process. It's useful to control batch jobs, which actually what I'm looking to use it for. When you don't want them to eat too much CPU, you can also use it for other stuff. If you just want something that runs in the background and it doesn't sleep very well or manage itself very well, you can use CPU Limit for something like that. So it may not necessarily have to be a batch job. It could just be a job that you want to work, just kind of behind the scenes without chewing up too much processor. So it's very handy for managing your processes. And I'm not going to go through the step-by-step. It's really complicated, a little bit of command line stuff going on. Definitely check the article out and let me know if it works for you. All right, that about does it for this edition of Linux Newslog. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. Just visit us on the web at linux.quicksurf.com and definitely check out the how-to segment for this. If you have questions, comments, concerns, definitely shoot me an email, linux@quicksurf.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Adrian_Bacon. It's all linked up in the show notes among the 50 bajillion, it seems like, other ways that you can get a hold of me online. So definitely take advantage of that. Thank you for listening or watching Linux Newslog. I will see all of you next week for next week's show. I've kind of shortened the shows down just a little bit so I can fit them under 10 minutes so I can put them up on YouTube. If you like that, great. If not, definitely say so. Just shoot me an email or message me on Twitter or any of the other places that you've friended or followed me. See you then. Bye.